Welcome into the Crypto Bunker podcast. Today, I want to focus mainly on Bitcoin. Let's just take a look at where we're at right now. We're up 4.4% on the day. Let's talk this through, kind of see where we're at. We did break through pretty much all the key levels that I had in terms of trend lines. Well, I would say this, we're testing the bottom of this range that we were in from November 24 to March 25. So pretty strong, I would say, resistance level that we're at right now for Bitcoin. So right now, Bitcoin, the 20-week SMA is at 21-week SMA. By the way, this is the Burbank Vibe Center that is playing, so check them out. Who produces that? We did. I mean, there's a lot to get into, a lot to talk about. We did break that trend line for sure, and that was a tell that once we broke that, we were just kind of going to go. The question that I have now, philosophically, with Bitcoin is this a bear market rally that is actually at its sort of close to its end already, or is this something else? Is this a move that can last? Is this the next leg of the bull market? Are we still in a bull market? I think a lot of people have given up on the 4-year cycle. Are we just sort of starting the 4-year cycle? I mean, I never really thought we got too overextended. I mean, I would say it does seem that the bull market support potentially could be 50-week SMA, right? Because we had both of those supports catch there. We did have a 20-week there, and we shot up, flagged, shot up. It's just another flag. It's just a pattern. That's kind of the question that we have to ask ourselves at this point. So we've broken through. We are bullish trend according to the Hedge Eye process. I would say this level that we're at right now currently is strong resistance. We have a 20-week SMA that is coming down, which again, it took us a few tries back here to get there. Let's try to see if we can look at other instances where this could happen. We obviously tested it here twice, and that was the end of the bull market. So we know, what the 20-week can do. We've seen it before. We saw it test the 20-week both times here before the bear market. And before the bear market. So this is a big deal. We also saw it back here in 2013, beginning of 14. We tested up multiple times and failed at that 20-week moving average. So, that's basically what we need to see here, and I would say that we are probably close to sort of that area. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of where this plays out. It's not necessarily a place that I would want to be going all in Bitcoin or doing leverage or doing anything like that. We also are hitting up against the 100 SMA on the daily. And so, we're having sort of a lot of different, things coming into play here. In terms of the monthly, we're still in range. Nothing really, no problems there. In terms of Ethereum, this is a nice monthly candle that has come in on the 150-month moving average. That is where we caught support, which makes total sense. If we look at it on a weekly time frame, we do see the weekly crossing bearish, which is very bearish. it's actually very rare that this even is happening in the way that it's happening. I would say with the moving averages. In fact, the last time it happened like this, um, we actually rallied up into the moving averages, I would say, which I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of where we're at here. So if we look back at this area in 2019, 2020, and again, I'm not gonna, let's not say that this is what's gonna happen, but I would not be surprised at all to rally all the way to like 2,400 if Bitcoin squeezes higher and does confirm, which, it is confirmed, like it is a bullish trend. But is it with equities or is it counter to equities? Did Bitcoin lead what is now going to be a short squeeze in equities? Did Bitcoin front run all of this? Is kind of what I'm getting at. And are we going to see ultimately a bigger collapse? And so, this is the potential of what I could see happening with ETH. I think we could squeeze higher here up into the moving averages. Okay, so probably not quite, that much. Let's just say, it goes up to 2,300, and then we come back down, test 1,000, make a lower low, and then we can have a bull run. And that's kind of when the stable coins are going to pass. And eventually, I just think that no one is pricing in the fact that the entire global financial system needs to change. There needs to be a new agreement, a new Bretton Woods. It's not, and these stable coins that have been invented, like USDC and USDT, they essentially buy treasuries. They're backed by treasuries and dollars, short-term treasury bills, things like that. So they're a buyer of treasuries. And the question is, no one really understands that this is all already being built on Ethereum. Literally no one knows this. Even the people in the Ethereum ecosystem don't know this for some reason. Either they don't know it or they just think, oh, it doesn't matter. The price just only goes down for ETH, right? And so, we obviously got pretty oversold in terms of the sentiment on Ethereum. But I'm just a long-term Ethereum bull. I don't really care what the price does. For me, it's not about, necessarily what the price is doing at this point. But I do think that the sentiment is just so bad at this point. Let's actually see if we can match it up even like this. I mean, you can't really, but you sort of can get the idea that like this could sort of be construed in a way that, you could say that, something is sort of similar in the cycle. I think it's more important to actually look at the moving averages, because that will tell us sort of more what were the moving averages looking like back then. And what we can see is, when we cross below, and I'll just do a comparison here. We crossed below the 200-week moving average here, okay? This is where the 200-week sort of started to come into play. So we crossed below it, then we rallied up, okay? So, and this is the same thing here, right? We crossed below the 200-week for the first time. We basically used it as support the entire way up. Now we finally crossed over. And when the 150-week moving average crossed over bearish to the 200-week is when we bottomed. So right now, we don't have that yet. And I would say this is such a good time to be accumulating Ethereum, because why do we say that? We say that because the moving averages are skinny, right? When they're wide, you want to be a seller. When they're skinny, you want to be a buyer. It's very simple, actually. So Bitcoin is a completely different story. It's actually pretty wide right now. So, in terms of value, long term, I think ETH is a better buy here if I'm a long-term investor. If I have to invest in Bitcoin because, I'm not, I'm in a retirement account and they don't have Ethereum, then yeah, I would, that's fine. But we can see when the moving averages were skinny around this area. And that's kind of where I bought originally for this bull market. And then I sold kind of up here. And now we're basically already back to where I sold. So was it even worth it? Probably not, actually, if I'm being honest. I mean, all the moving around, the shifting around of the portfolio, it's not worth it. But, this is the time where people FOMO back in, and we can see that the RSI is pretty weak here on the weekly averages, right? We're coming into resistance even in the RSI in terms of the average RSI. So this is I think it's like a 20-week average RSI. And we can see that we're coming into that. We're also coming into the 20-week SMA in terms of the the regular moving averages here. So again, I think that today is just a day to have some patience. Don't completely FOMO in. You would rather buy like $1,000 higher and with a confirmation than to buy today necessarily. I will be buying today. But I'm not, like FOMOing in. That's definitely not where you want to be right now. So this is very important level. I don't like to be buying up here. It's not a good discipline to do. I think I don't think it's like fully broken out. It still has, it's just barely, okay, I will say it has broken through all of the daily moving averages, which is really a good sign. Now, the last one to go is the weekly, and the weekly is trending down at this point. It's not totally down, but it is down. It's pretty significantly down. We can see it here coming down, and we've already shown in the past what that means. So now with Ethereum, again, the moving averages are almost all starting to move down, which is very rare. I mean, you don't see this, and maybe, people are right? Maybe ETH is dead, and that's why I think it's not, like, to me, it's not, right? And that's the decision that I've made in my mind, is that Ethereum is a really important asset for the future of humanity. In many ways, it's the most decentralized platform that we have, that everything can be built on top of. And we need a peer-to-peer decentralized platform on which to build into the future for humanity, for freedom, right? And a lot of people will tell you like, oh, it's all part of the, conspiracy. They want you on the public blockchain, stuff like that. I think it's bullshit, actually. I think that Ethereum, I think Vitalik is a genuine dude, actually. And the more I listen to him, the more I just think that he's just a good person, honestly. And, we can look on even the weekly RSIs are very oversold. It never really gets this oversold, right? We're all the way back here. Anytime you've gotten down to that level, essentially is a screaming buy. And now what we're going to look for is we want a rally. Then we want to test. What we want to see is a potentially lower low on the price and a higher low on the RSI, right? So it's the same as what happened back here in 2020. We had a very much a higher low on the RSI as we double bottomed there, right? That was the buy of the century. So what we want is we want to rally here. We want to test up in this region and maybe kind of come up to this area, chop around, and then correct. and then correct, let's say to, 1,000, and we come back and make a higher low. That's the buy, right? That's the big buy. So I'm gonna keep you guys on this. For now, let's just stop it, and we'll end it there. Hopefully you got something out of the video. If you did get one thing out of the video, just comment in the comment section. But also, I hope that if there is one thing that I would choose for you to get out of the video is just patience. You don't need to FOMO into anything. The price isn't going to run away and never come back. That's never ever the case, right? With Bitcoin, with any asset, even gold. Okay, gold right now we see correcting, and so just realize that there's always gonna be opportunities, and and you just don't need to FOMO in, and it's better to save, pay down debts first, and just go slowly and have a long-term mindset. That's really the big thing. But also be macro aware, right? Understand where you are in the macro cycle. Understand where you are in the price. Are you in a bullish trend? Are you in a bearish trend? Are you in a bear market rally? So these are the things that I try to analyze on this channel. I also use the hedge eye process for determining bullish and bearish trend, and I get a lot of wisdom from Keith McCullough, because what he understands is not to FOMO in. And even this morning, he took off his gold position to the minimum and took all his dollar shorts down to the minimum. And now we have a dollar rally and a gold correction a little bit. So he also said that, he's not buying Bitcoin today. He's going to wait for it to correct and test whatever that bottom level is. Because even if it goes to 100K from here, it will most likely come back and test at some different level. It might be 95, might be 94, so it might be higher. But more likely than not, even if it goes to 98K from here, it will probably come back to 91. So, you have to trust, right? You have to trust and have faith um, in yourself, and just have patience. And so I hope that some of that helped today. And if it did, just hit like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.